Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into some incredible wisdom on how to navigate this thing we call life with a little more simplicity, a lot more joy, and a deeper sense of meaning. We're going to explore why we tend to take everything so seriously and how just a tiny shift in perspective can literally change everything.
Let's kick things off with this really powerful thought from the late great actor Irfan Khan. It just perfectly sets the stage for the big question we're tackling today. In the absolute rush of our daily lives, are we really living, or are we just kind of constantly getting ready to live someday?
All right, so this brings us to our first big idea. Think about it. When we were kids, life was basically a game, right? But somewhere along the way, that all changes. We start taking everything so seriously. So what's up with that? Why does this happen? Just look at this contrast here. As kids, we were all about living in the moment. Playing hide and seek, not worrying about the outcome at all. It was pure play. But as adults, we get locked into these rigid patterns that society lays out for us. You have to get the degree, you have to make the money, you have to get famous. The pressure is so intense that if anyone dares to break that pattern, we kind of look at them like they're crazy. And that really makes you wonder, right? Our entire life, maybe 80 years if we're super lucky, is just a blink of an eye in the grand cosmic scheme of things. I mean, a fraction of a second. Yet we walk around with the weight of the entire world on our shoulders. The source material argues that the moment we learn to stop taking it all so seriously, a lot of our so-called problems, they just start to melt away.
Okay, so if the goal isn't to be so serious all the time, then what are we actually chasing? Well, that question naturally leads us to happiness. But what does happiness even mean?
The source material has this absolutely brilliant analogy. Picture a restaurant with a sign outside that says, "Beer is free tomorrow." Of course, the catch is, tomorrow never comes. It's always today. And we do the exact same thing with happiness, don't we? We're always putting it off into the future. Oh, I'll be happy when I get that promotion, or I'll be happy when I have more money. But happiness isn't some destination you arrive at. It's a state of being, right here, right now. But that leads to a really tricky question. We might be doing everything right, checking all the boxes, getting the good job, the nice car, getting everyone's approval. But are we actually genuinely happy? How can we tell the difference between that real inner joy and just the temporary buzz we get from external validation? Well, to figure that out, the source breaks down these 4 levels inside of us that are kind of running the show. First up, you've got the mind, which is all about impulse and what feels good right now. Then there's the intellect, which uses logic and plans for the future. Deeper than that is consciousness, which is our connection to our true inner self, our real purpose. And finally, there's the ego, which is totally driven by that need to be validated, to prove ourselves to others. If we can figure out which one of these is in the driver's seat, we can get a much clearer picture of where our happiness or unhappiness is really coming from.
Okay, so we've looked inside at what drives us. Now let's talk about the lens through which we see the entire world, our perspective.
This is such a game-changing idea. It's the idea that what's actually happening out there is often way less important than how we interpret it. Think about it. That person you used to really admire might totally get on your nerves now. Did they change? Probably not. What changed was your perspective. And when you change your perspective, your whole world changes with it.
But hang on, there's a little reality check here. The source is wise enough to add that perspective isn't the only thing. I mean, some things are just wrong. Certain actions are harmful, period, no matter how you look at them. And let's not forget, we're all rookies at this game of life. We're all experiencing it for the very first time. So it's probably a good idea to listen to the wisdom of those who've been around the block a few times.
This brings us to a concept that might sound a little passive, but trust me, it's one of the most powerful things we'll talk about today. It's the incredible freedom that comes from surrender, from just letting go.
You know that little voice in your head that's always saying, "I've got this, I can fix this, it's all on me." That's what the source calls the doer mentality. It's our ego believing we are in complete control of everything and that we can force any outcome we want just by trying hard enough. And man, is that a heavy burden to carry. Sound familiar? For so many of us, this is the default path. We run into a wall, a problem we can't solve, and our ego makes us just struggle and fight and push against reality. That struggle, of course, leads to suffering. And only when we are completely and totally wiped out do we finally give up and surrender. But the wise, they flip the script entirely. They start with surrender. Now, this doesn't mean they do nothing. They absolutely take action. They do their part, but they accept that the final result isn't totally up to them. And that trust, that letting go,
It frees them from all the anxiety of needing to control everything.
And let's be super clear here. Surrender is not the same as giving up or being lazy. The Source makes this really important distinction between unhealthy attachment and healthy duty. Attachment is all about fear and the need for control. It creates suffering. But duty, like taking care of your family, is a responsibility you perform with love and care, but you let go of the outcome. You do the best you can, and then you release the result.
So, if we learn to let go of control, what do we hold on to? What's the ultimate thing we can align ourselves with? Well, our final section has a pretty profound answer. There's this perfect story from the Mahabharata that just nails this point. Lord Krishna has a choice. He can go to a huge, lavish feast thrown by a powerful king, or he can have a simple meal with a humble servant named Vidur. He chooses the servant. Why? Because the servant's simple offering came from a place of pure, unconditional, selfless love. It just goes to show that true divinity isn't found in power or wealth. It's found in love.
Now, we gotta be honest. This is not the kind of love most of us practice day to day. Most of our love comes with strings attached. We say things like, I love this watch because it looks good on me. See, that's not love for the watch itself. It's love for the feeling it gives you. True, unconditional love, it has no because. It just is.
So what does that actually look like? How do we practice it? It's simple, but it's not easy. To truly love something is to let it be exactly as it is. If you love a flower in a field, you don't pick it. That would kill it. You appreciate it. You let it exist without needing to own it or change it.
And really, this is what it all builds up to. The Source suggests that while nobody can really put a label on God or divinity, the absolute closest we can get to experiencing it is through the feeling of unconditional love. When you can feel that expansive love for everything, for the sun, for the trees, for the people you like, and yes, even for the people you don't, in that moment you are experiencing divinity itself.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to take with you. What's just one thing in your life right now? A worry, a grudge you're holding, a need to control how something turns out. What's one thing you can practice loving by just letting it be? The path to a simpler, more beautiful life might just start with that one simple act. Thanks so much for joining me.